Hello, beloved. Welcome today. I'm Wendy, the host of The Widow's Gift, and I want to take just a quick minute to refresh your memory on what is the Widow's Gift. Part of it is before you're gone. Are you ready? Do you have your paperwork all in order so that if you should pass today, your loved ones have a plan and know what to do? They know what your wishes are. I know it's a weird thing to talk about at Christmas, but since you're getting ready to have all these gatherings, it's probably a good time to just bring it up. It doesn't hurt to talk about it. Do you have all your paperwork in order? Yeah. So it's always good to talk about it. Has someone in your have your parents, do they have everything in place? Do they have a service planned? Have they told you their wishes? That is what I do with Before You're Gone. I help you get your things in order to talk about the hard, stuff. So, yeah. And then coaching. What's the difference between a coach? What is a coach? Well, a coach is when you need some help to get through a certain thing or to a certain point. Someone who's on your team, who's rooting for you, who can help you strategize and get to the next level. So a widow's coach, well, that is maybe you're stuck in a certain area. You just can't seem to move forward in your life since the loss of your husband. That's where I can come in and I will help you. Yeah, it's a great thing. Not that I know it all. I don't know it all, but I can tell you I'm someone who has lived through, and I've lived well for coming up on close to the 5-year mark. Not quite, but almost there. So in the beginning, you're going to feel like you can't make it. You don't know how you're going to make it. And step by step, day by day, breath by breath, you will. But if you get stuck, you might need me to help you. So there you go. All right. Today's scripture is Psalm 139:20. Raw and real. They blaspheme you. Your enemies misuse your name. Ever wanted to flip a table when you see something that's just flat out wrong? Maybe it's watching someone get bullied, seeing corruption go unpunished, or witnessing cruelty that makes your blood boil. That fire in your chest, that's not a spiritual problem. That's righteous anger. And it's actually reflecting something of God's own heart. David felt the same burning when he watched people trash God's name and mock everything sacred. But what's fascinating about Psalm 139:20 is that David doesn't stuff down his rage or pretend to be above it all. He gets raw and real with God about this outrage. They speak against you with evil intent. Your adversaries misuse your name. He's basically saying that this is infuriating, and he's not going to pretend it isn't. That's the kind of honesty God can work with. When injustice makes you want to scream, when evil feels overwhelming, when you're genuinely enraged by what's happening in the world, bring that fire straight to him. Don't sanitize it or dress it up in church language. Just tell him what you're feeling, what's breaking your heart right now. Because here's the beautiful thing. God doesn't just tolerate our righteous anger. He transforms it. The same God who holds space for your rawest emotions is also the one who can shape that fire into something purposeful. He takes that burning sense of justice and molds it into compassion for the oppressed, courage to speak up, as well as wisdom to know when and how to act. Your anger at injustice isn't something to be ashamed of, but something to be surrendered. God meets you in that fire and teaches you how to burn for the right things in the right way. All right, scripture meditation. Don't let evil conquer you, but conquer evil by doing good. And how has that affected you in your personal life? Can you share? A lot of times we think, well, I don't have an enemy. I'm fine with everyone. Don't be vulnerable. You do have enemies, because the enemy is out to kill, steal, and destroy. There is an enemy prowling around like a hungry lion, and you may not be aware of it, and you might even forget, especially if you're surrounded in what you perceive as all things good. But rest assured, friend, you do have an enemy. You have an enemy of your soul. And how does the enemy work? Through people. Same as how God works, through people. So anyway, what injustices or wrongs stir a deep emotional reaction in you? When you feel that fire of anger or outrage, what do you typically do with it? Do you find yourself swallowing it, letting it consume you, or bringing it to God first? I do try to bring it to God every time. And it can also, because of that, He'll show you what to do. He lets you process it. And He'll show you your next steps if you're listening. So, have you had injustices done to you? I'm shocked at the injustices that I've experienced after becoming a widow. Absolutely shocked. Because I would have never thought that. But friends, people don't think the same as you. And we quickly forget that. People who you think have your back may not have your back. I don't know. Definitely consider, here's a word of advice for you. If you are a widow and you should always have multiple financial advisors, I think, or someone sit in with you, have witnesses with you when you do financial transactions, if you're going to invest money or something like that. I think it's important to have a financial advisor. That's not my area of expertise. I'm good with money on a personal level, and can help coach people also in that arena too. Can you live within your means? Are you good with paying your bills on time? Do you have all the insurances that you need? All of that kind of thing. But just since becoming a widow, I had, oh buddy, ouch. Sorry, the kitties again, I have been taken advantage of financially. I had a lady from AAA who I'm pretty sure copied my presentation of Before You're Gone, and then ghosted me. There's many areas even documented over time, whether you're a widow or not, of people getting taken advantage of, like at a mechanic's garage just because they are a woman, over and over. I mean, John Stossel's done reports on it, and it's been on 2020, and those are real things. And so you definitely need a protector. Now, that being said, God has been my protector in these situations. And it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. Yes, it does hurt. It hurts deeply when people you trusted and loved weren't who they said they were. So anyway, God leads my steps in that. And how might God want to use that righteous anger to shape your prayers, actions, or calling? Well, that is a big part of what I would hope to accomplish in coaching for widows specifically is, one, do not invest any money right away. The big stressors in life, losing your spouse is number one. And I had always heard, even before becoming a widow, don't make any big decisions your first year. Don't make any big financial decisions. Had I wished I waited. I didn't have any reason not to trust someone, though. This person that helped me financially. I didn't have any reason to not trust him. But nonetheless, that's the only area I did not heed advice in waiting until after a year. And to be honest, there was no rush. There really wasn't a rush. And make sure for your own self, though, that you wait. Don't rush through. Don't invest. And make sure the person you choose is on the up and up. So I have since learned from other people, other widows, they also had been taken advantage of. And what do I mean by that? Well, it's how they invest your money, using your money for their gain, which is against their fiduciary code. But yeah. And to be honest, friends, I was so exhausted. I couldn't fight it. There was so much. I was in deep grief from losing Bob, and I had to leave that to the Lord. I just left it to him, because I can tell you what, it tells over and over in scripture that God's heart is for the widow. So the people that have purposely, knowingly taken advantage of me, they have God to answer to. They've got God to answer to, because I know he's got my back. Sorry, this is applicable because the revelation of all that betrayal is coming up on an anniversary, so it's all fresh in my mind as I remember. And I'm going to tell you what I remember. Yes, I do remember the pain and the heartache of people that I loved dearly stabbing me in the back, so to speak. And I also remember that God has sustained me. God has not forgotten, and God is taking care of all of that. So, how might God use that righteous anger? I want you to know. I want you to learn from me. Now, I did find God led me to a very trusted financial advisor, trustworthy. And that will be for another talk. But it's quite interesting. See, that's just another way I know that God has my back. So, yeah. What kinds of things make you mad? I mean, yes, I get angry thinking about a widow being taken advantage of, or kids. You mess with kids, and I'm gonna come after you in a godly way. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. When you see somebody being taken advantage of, somebody who might be mentally challenged, somebody who's the underdog, no, it's not right. It's not right. And perhaps that's one of the things I loved most about my Bob, is because he was a man who would go to bat for those who were the underdog. So I don't know. I miss that about him. Love that about him. And what about you? Have you been taken advantage of as a widow? And sometimes, friends, we don't know what we don't know. And I certainly did not, until there was like a slow process of the Lord revealing things to me. I was like, oh, okay. So, yeah, I'd love to hear your stories on that. I have an aunt who was also taken advantage of financially. It's very common. I've also talked to another widow, also happened to her. So it's very, very common. And there are predators out in this world. And they go after the vulnerable. We know that. The elderly, right? My grandma was taken advantage of on the phone. I mean, forever. She would say, I don't do business over the phone. And for whatever reason, however, the phone, there was a scam going on at this particular time. And they tricked her into saying yes to her name. But that's what she thought she was answering. But what ended up happening, she got all this medical equipment sent to her house. And then she was worried, and she was on a fixed income. And I said, hey, listen, Gran, you're not responsible for that. And we're going to return to sender. And she was worried about her credit and all this. And I said, no, 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 no. They're the scammers. You are innocent. But boy, that made me mad. And then we had to go over, like, remember, you don't do any business over the phone, even though it was an accident. But what kinds of injustices for the vulnerable really make you mad? I want to know. All right. I've yapped long enough. I hope you've had a good talk. Hope it gives you things to think about. The creative response. On a piece of paper, this is called the fire map. On a piece of paper, draw or write about something in the world that genuinely makes you angry. A broken system, a pain you've witnessed, an injustice. Then around that central issue, write or draw God's ways God might want to transform that anger into action, prayer, or compassion. Make a truth plus action list for each situation or injustice that upsets you. So if you're upset about human trafficking, then put some money behind your action. Find a reputable, trustworthy organization and send some money to help in that fight. Yeah, I mean, there's many things you could do. How can this fire become fuel for something good? So think about that. And keep this map as a reminder that your righteous anger can be a starting point for God's work through you. So, yeah, that's it for today, guys. Went on a little longer than normal. Hope you don't mind. I had a lot to say. That's my gift for you today.